Colton has suffered from asthma his entire life. And he was going through an episode of about a week where he was having a bit of asthma, and then it got under control. Then it started getting worse again until it was a Saturday night, or pardon me, early in the morning, around 3 a.m. His asthma got really bad. We decided we have to take him into Children's Hospital. So I drove him in there, and when we got to the counter, he collapsed and he went into cardiac arrest. And I didn't realize that at the time, but he collapsed. I screamed out for help, and a fellow came and basically grabbed him with one arm, and they ran into the emergency department, and they immediately cut his clothes off and started CPR on him. And they did CPR for 15 minutes until they got his heart going again. And then after that, he spent 2 days in the ICU with, a million different machines hooked up to him, and a tube for breathing, and IVs everywhere, and had an assisted breathing machine, and there was underlying circumstances. I think they said there was pneumonia and stuff as well that we weren't aware of, and everything seemed to go sideways. And of course, he had this brain injury due to lack of oxygen from his heart being stopped for 15 minutes.
This time that we brought him in, he did seem worse than he usually is, but we, of course, didn't expect that it could cause his heart to stop. So it was pretty scary at the time.
When I had to make that phone call to Rachel to tell her things are really bad, they're doing CPR, you have to come now, because I didn't know if he was going to make it at the time. That was probably one of the toughest things I've ever had to do in my life. We were very fortunate that everything happened in the right place at the right time. Otherwise, he wouldn't have made it.
He stayed at Children's for about 10 days.
10 days.
Yeah, and it was really hard. It was a hard time because when he was awake, once he was off of the sedation, when he was in ICU, he woke up and he was talking a little bit. And so I think we felt quite positive that things were okay for him. And then within a few days, we started to notice more issues with him, and he lost his vision, and he lost his ability to move his body. He couldn't talk anymore. He had a tube for feeding because he couldn't feed himself. And so it was a scary time of being unsure of what was happening.
My first memory that I'm actually able to think of is being transported to Sunny Hill.
That's where we started seeing his progression. Basically, they helped him learn to walk and talk and feed himself, all those things, and he was able to do it within a month.
I had to learn to stand, to sit up, and to walk. But I'd say the scariest thing that I learned was going upstairs.
And we were very fortunate having the therapists provided by the BC Centre for Abilities. They were all extremely professional, very knowledgeable, very flexible, very caring, extremely caring people. And it just made life so wonderful for us during his recovery.
I think Colton decided that he would really do this therapy. He got a lot of support from his family. I think they are incredible that way. But I think that he had to choose. He's the kind of kid who has to decide for himself.
Colton is very motivated. He was very motivated to recover, and I've been extremely impressed. Probably never been more impressed with anyone in my life. With the inner strength that he had, and wanting to recover and become his old self again and get back to the things that he loved to do.
He's an exceptional kid, that's for sure.